for me, the points that really resonate for me, as we spoke about many a times, would be in terms of Spider-Man PS4 specifically, and it kind of goes into like we talk about like my love of Leap of Faith, right? Both in Spider-Man PS4 and
Spider-Verse.
in Spider-Verse,
Right.
in the sense of I really liked the way Mary Jane and Peter were interacting throughout the movie. First of all, what really made me connect with Peter, actually, just say that, just open up with that. When I really resonated with Peter was after you beat Martin Lee round two.
Okay.
Round two being, when you're fighting him in the subway.
Oh, and then Doctor Octopus shows up.
No, not that one.
Oh.
So like the second fight, you go through Grand Central Station.
Yeah.
And then then he's on the train. Remember, it was a Raimi reference where he put.
Oh, this usually works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
Which I love that, by the way. And you beat him, and Spider-Man's like, oh, remember he's like standing on the building. And he's like, oh, it's over to Mary Jane, and she's like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh man, that's not what I meant. I meant the Martin Lee issue is over, and she's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, do you want it to be over? She's like, I don't know, maybe. And I'm like, oh man, this is just this is relatable. This
Right?
relationship drama. Oh my gosh. I'm like, Peter, man,
I feel you.
so much.
Right?
You went from, I used to call him Spider-Man. After this, I was like, oh, you're on a first name basis, just like T'Challa, Steve. Well, Thor is just Thor no matter what.
Even go even further, you're like, you're getting a nickname, Pete.
Yes. Like I was like, oh man,
You got
I'm
befriended
just
like that.
right. I was feeling him. I was like, oh man, that. I was like, bro, just stay single.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I felt that. That had a really big. That's when I was just like, at that point, 'cause I never read Spider-Man comics, right?
That's true. Yep.
Except for the Civil War time. At that point, I was just like, I'm gonna read Spider-Man comics. Actually, I think Africa bought me Spider-Man comics.
Oh really?
Yeah, coincidentally. I think I told her, I was like, I'm actually gonna start reading Spider-Man now. Like
Wow.
he actually like this among all the movies I'm into the comic book world as much as you. Like I've watched all the movies, I read comic books, I watch the cartoon shows. I never was compelled to read Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But this game, watching that scene and its emotion. Oh, and along with, you remember when he broke it when Mary Jane was in the Sable
the
base, and then the guy was pointing his gun, and he like knocked out the guy and took her out, and then she was just like, sorry, giving a hard time while he's web slinging, and then they're like starting to bicker and argue, and he's like, no, I don't want to do this right now. Can you just tell me what the guy told you? And I'm like,
relatable.
so relatable. It's just like, why are you giving me a hard time right now?
Right?
So yeah, I love that. I was like, you know what, Peter, I'm connecting with you right now. This right here, I can resonate. This is my life. But his interaction with Mary Jane in the subway. No, not the subway. This Grand Central Station. When Martin Lee breaks in, he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna delirious devil breath on everybody."
Yep.
I really thought that was well done because you could see how, like, when you play the stage, you can see how effective and efficient they are at getting things done if they would just work together. But the thing is, like, they didn't have that, as like they say in Soul Eater, like that soul resonance, and they were like talking, as you said before, talking at each other, not with each other.
Yeah. Okay.
And I really like that in the sense of like they were able to do it, but they couldn't really quite create that cohesion that was really necessary that would make them really effective at what they do.
Yeah.
And it only happened at Osborn's penthouse when Sable's coming after her, and she literally did like a leap of faith. When she jumped off, I was like, wow, that's a leap of faith. She's like, I'm gonna just assume that you're gonna catch me, because I know who you are, and as opposed to before she hated always being saved by him, which you found out that was the reason why they broke up, which I really like what they did, by the way, because when we first started the game, they told us, like, what's it called, Insomniac told us that like they've been broken up for like 6 to 8 months, and everyone was like, what, it's Mary Jane Watson, Peter Parker, right. But then when you see, you're like, it made it better. I think if they were already in a healthy relationship, it wouldn't have made it as good.
Yep, because there'd be no room to grow, and now they kind of took it back, and then you see it grow, and then you appreciate it that much more.
Exactly, and then by the end, they rekindled, and then so you're excited for like the next Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
Along with Venom, which no one talked about, but anyways, I really like that, and then that scene, where Mary Jane is like going through Osborn's stuff, and Spider-Man just waiting, to save her, or whatever, more or less. It made me think of I know this could be a really far reach in terms of your mind, but it made me think of Shiro and Rin
Oh, okay.
versus Caster and the teacher.
The punching one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The punching one
Yeah.
from Face Knit Unlimited Blade works in the sense of really every relationship is about like whether it's you and me, you and your girl, you and my me and my girl, you and my girl. What do you say? Me and my girl. It's about trust and communication. Like forget love or whatever things or buying gifts. No, everything starts with trust and communication. And I feel like both these aspects of like I think it's episode 14 where Rin fight is Caster and Shiro's fighting the teacher. Cause like Rin and the Caster use magic. Shiro and the guy were more physical magical users.
Yeah.
You can never really no relationship can really work unless you have that trust and communication. And the trust in the sense of like if Peter arrived too early, Mary Jane would have been compromised.
Yeah.
And if Mary Jane waited too long without trusting Peter, she would have been compromised. And then if you look at the Face Night fight, if Shiro was worried about Rin, he would have gotten killed by the teacher. And if Rin was worried about Shiro,
vice versa.
Exactly. So really, like, it makes me think of like the quote. So now I'm like, my mind is just kind of going. It makes me think of the quote. So like in Guilty Gear Xrd, whenever you win, I don't know if you remember, like there'd be like a quote that the person would say. You know, like most in like older games, they would have to go into like do you want to press start to continue, and there'd be a quote like, haha, you suck, and that's why I beat you, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. And Guilty Gear just happens after each match.
Is that in Fighters too? Dragon Ball Fighters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. They started with Xrd. Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I know Dragon Ball.
Okay. So Dizzy, Kai's wife.
Yeah.
Kai's my favorite character in Guilty Gear, in case you guys didn't know.
Okay.
And his wife versus Elfeld, the character with guns. You
Yeah.
you remember her?
I do.
Okay. When Dizzy wins, she says, "Don't look for someone that's looking at you. Look for someone that's looking the same direction as you."
Smart.
And I feel like that's what a lot of people lack. You know, we want to find someone who's like fixated on us, but it's really like what drew me to my girl is the fact that she's looking the same direction as me.
Okay.
As attractive as she is, as you know, most people talk about. No, it's the fact that like I like the fact that she wants to go somewhere and it's the same place I want to go to, and just having that mutual trust in that. And I feel like that those two scenes, like I said, I think episode 14 in Unlimited Blade works, and then yeah, I'm 100% sure now it's episode 14 because episode 15, I think, no shit, I don't know. No, it is episode 14. It's episode 14. I'm confident now. No, wait, no, 11. It's 11. It's 11. It's 11. It's 11. I'm sure of it.
Okay.
Because the episode before the show got to halfway point, and the halfway point was episode 12, because the whole show is 24 episodes.
Oh, there you go.
It was episode 11.
Makes sense.
There we go.
Quick
Episode
maths.
11. Quick maths. Even though I can't math, I did it for you guys. I really like those scenes because you really need to, really any relationship, especially romantic, you need to find someone that looks in the same direction as you.